Welcome to Retire Right TV. My name is Cynthia DeFazio. I'm joined today by Paul Roberts. He's president and CEO of Roberts Wealth Management. Good morning. It's so good to see you again, Paul.
Oh, it's so great to be back, Cynthia. I love being in the studio with you. We have so much fun.
Oh, we do have so much fun. And it's amazing because I love hearing all the feedback that you're receiving from people that have been in the viewing audience that have called in to set an appointment, to come in to just experience the Roberts Wealth difference, if you will. So what has it been like for you?
Well, it's been incredible. And just for our viewers out there, it's info@robertswealthms.com.
Okay.
But that's where we receive all of our email, all of our questions from our viewers and our radio listeners. I got to tell you, that's been the funnest part of the show. You know,
Yeah.
We've been enjoying the questions and answers, but also on our radio show, the same thing. We're getting the questions that we're getting today from the audiences are so in depth. I think people are really becoming in tune. They're educating themselves a lot. You know, people are starting to really take on this retirement puzzle, and it just seems like every week our questions just get that much more and more complex, and like the viewers are really, you know, expanding their knowledge base. It's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And I think what's amazing is that when we are doing the shows, we realize how many people are sitting in the viewing audience that perhaps do not have a true comprehensive written retirement plan. You know, they're pulling the statements out of the mail, of course, and they're looking at that bottom line number and they're like, okay, I have an idea, this is my plan, but that's totally different than having a true plan, correct?
Well, yeah, it's unfortunate, Cynthia. I think that a lot of people today have created what norms, right? And this is the norm that they've created and they expect from their financial company, their advisor, whoever their financial professional is. And so I think that a lot of people kind of stop short there. They think that's all you're supposed to be delivered. And that's why we're always talking about the Roberts Wealth, the difference, you know, the Roberts Wealth Management difference. And that's what that difference is just going above and beyond, going further for the client, making sure that they understand where they're going, where they'll be in 5, 10, 15, 20 years, making sure they have the confidence and the security they deserve. But it all comes and starts with having that full-blown comprehensive retirement plan, right?
Sure.
A lot of people, they get a investment portfolio, they save some money,
Yeah.
and then they think that's all there is to retirement planning is having the savings.
Yeah.
Well, that's great that you have savings, right? You have to have savings.
Absolutely, just
But
in case.
that's really falling short of having a true comprehensive financial plan.
Sure.
You know, it's lacking the income planning, the tax planning, risk assessment, a lot of different aspects that we bring in.
Sure.
And that's what the Roberts Wealth difference is, and that's what our clients love about being with, you know, being part of the family, and we love having all of them.
Absolutely. And I do want to talk to you a little bit further about where your passion comes from for helping other Pauls, which is just in case someone is tuning in for perhaps the very first time.
Right.
Let's talk a little bit about how the dream started for you and why you really enjoy helping people in this phase of their life.
Yeah. There's quite a few things that really struck the passion for me, you know, many years back. One of them was I was in college right before I got into this profession, and you may remember back there was a stock market glitch one day. Market fell 1,000 points in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, I was trading stocks when I was in college. That's how I was supporting myself and my children through college, and I lost a ton of money in that stock market glitch.
Yeah.
And I lost about 8 months worth of rent. And when you're a college student, 8 months worth of rent is quite the significant loss, right?
Yeah.
But prior to that, I'd had another experience with a family member. We had a family member who was growing ill, and as they were growing ill, they had a financial advisor who back in the 2001, 2, and 3 in the first dot-com bubble they had seen over 40–50% losses in their portfolio. So I had a family member who was very dear to me, depending on that money, while their loved one was in the hospital with the terminal illness, and all the family is mourning and dealing with the terminal illness and loss of a loved one. And now we had this big financial problem on top of everything. And they couldn't pay for the care, and it was a struggle, and the whole family had to come together to help out. And that just really set in on me, and it said, you know, this isn't right. It doesn't have to be this way.
Sure.
Because as we were calling, you know, I remember my family member calling their advisor, and he said, oh, you know, these losses are temporary. They're a paper loss. We're in it for the long run. And my family member got on the phone one day and told us, well, you know, he said it's a loss. It'll come back. We're in it for the long run. I said, exactly how long is this run?
Exactly. And what else was scary is paper loss. I mean, what does that mean?
This is not a paper loss. We have a 6-month terminal illness. This is not a long run. We need our assets now.
Yeah.
But it was just their nonchalant attitude that, you know, hey, it's normal. It's what happens to everybody. And now it's happening to you. And I just refused to accept that.
Yeah.
I didn't think that's the way it should be. So, you know, my father and I, we went out and we started an independent financial firm, Roberts Wealth Management. We are independent because we quickly found out going into the industry, if we wanted to do what was in our client's best interest, if we wanted to treat every client as a family member, then we couldn't work for a company because we would always be working in the company's best interest, not in our client's best interest. So going independent, now we work for the client. We don't have some boss in an ivory tower somewhere telling us what to do for the client that works for them, which is fantastic. But also, we get to build that relationship, you know, because the clients know that we work for them. They trust us. They feel good. They feel confident in working with us. And it's amazing to watch, you know, our industry is fun. And don't get me wrong, it's fun making money and enjoying life, right?
Sure.
But the real value is watching those people grow and their confidence grow, watching that relief come off of their shoulders, watching them open up and the relationship build.
Yeah.
And you see the differences that you actually make in those folks' lives.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's amazing. It's wonderful to see that you're actually making a difference in people's lives.
And I know that people truly appreciate that because they refer multiple family members to you. We've talked about in the past that you don't help just one client, you actually help generations of clients.
Correct, we do. And next thing you know, the children become clients and the children's children become clients. But we're a multi-generational firm. You know, we work with families. All of our clients, we encourage them. We have many client events throughout the year. Next one we have coming up will be our Cruising the Coast, Cruise-In Lunch in October. We'll have probably 50 clients show with beautiful antique cars. We'll have a big car show, outside barbecue. We'll probably have 300 or 400 clients show up that day and come through and enjoy the social activity. But we encourage them to bring their kids, bring their family members. We want to build those relationships. First of all, we want to help all of them, but not only that, one of the main reasons we want to build those relationships is because then if something happens to the parents, you know, the children are already in a time of mourning. They're already in a time of stress and anxiety and so much going on. And then they've got to go talk to this financial advisor. You know, this intimidating guy who's got to talk to them about money. And so they're very hesitant to come and talk to us, whereas if they have met us at prior events, then they know there's nothing intimidating in the world about meeting me. I'm one of the least intimidating people you ever meet. So once they've met us, they're like, oh, sure, I just got to go chat with Paul or the team, you know. And then, so it really opens that up a lot. But our clients and the referrals they give us are just astronomical. Over half of our business, new and incoming business, comes from referrals. But that just, to me, that says we're doing something right.
Well, you're definitely doing something right because there's no greater compliment than a testimonial that's glowing, and you have just numerous amounts of those. But I can't believe it, Paul. It's time for us to take our very first commercial break. Can you tell the viewing audience what they can expect to receive by calling in today?
Yeah, well, for the next 15 callers who call, we have a special package today. We're going to do a complete, full-blown, comprehensive financial plan. Now, in this plan, Cynthia, they can expect to get a complete fee assessment, a assessment of their current portfolio, a tax analysis, and a complete income plan, all packaged together in one. Now, a lot of people charge up to about $1,000 for all of this planning, but for the next 15 callers who have at least $200,000 saved for retirement, we're going to sit down with them, go through the whole process, build them a complete, comprehensive financial review of their current situation and where they need to go. And it's going to be at no cost, no obligation, if they pick up the phone and give us a call right now.
Paul, thank you so much. To the viewing audience at home, we do have to take a very short commercial break, but the phone lines are open. That number to call once again is 228-388-2031. When we come back, we're going to have more questions and answers for Paul about planning your perfect and stress-free retirement. Please stay tuned.
How confident are you in your current financial plan? Do you know with certainty how the recent market volatility will affect your future hopes and dreams? How much are you paying in taxes? And how much are you losing to unnecessary high fees? You didn't work to save this money so that you could spend your time worried in retirement. Now is the time to take charge of your finances so you can feel confident about your future. Call in during the next 30 minutes of today's show only to set up an absolutely complimentary, no obligation, full-blown financial review that will result in your own customized written plan. This is a $999 value that we're giving away complimentary to the first 10 people who respond. We'll start with a full-blown analysis of what you already have, by running a report to untangle how much you are currently paying in fees, how you're allocated for risk, and what it's costing to work with your current advisor. Next, we'll identify your goals. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Where do you want to go, and who do you hope to go there with? Is your current financial plan set up to get you there without mishap? Let's design a roadmap to create a financial plan you can follow with confidence. Get the piece that so many people are missing from their retirement. Find out how having a written plan can make a difference to your retirement dreams. Call now to schedule your complimentary, no obligation, full-blown financial review today.
And welcome back to Retire Right TV. My name is Cynthia DeFazio. I'm joined today by Paul Roberts. He's president and CEO of Roberts Wealth Management. And what a great first segment, because I love to let the viewing audience get to know you better on a personal level. One of the things that we talked about as you were offering the package to people that are calling in today, we talked a little bit about what tweaked my interest was hidden fees, portfolio analysis. Can we dive into that a little bit deeper? I want to ask you questions about, what does it feel like when someone comes in and they help, with your help actually, discover hidden fees? Is it like just astronomical to know for them? Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, I think kind of spurring that question, right, Cynthia, is all the discussions you and I have had outside the studio about fees and portfolios. And it's just like when we first started having those discussions, how eye-opening it was to you and how empowering it was to you understand how all of the fees and commissions and everything in your portfolio work.
Absolutely.
It is the most eye-opening thing that we do for anyone coming in our office.
Yeah.
It's the most empowering thing done. We think that everybody out there should always get a second opinion in a portfolio analysis, a non-biased third-party portfolio analysis.
Sure,
right?
sure.
Not the advisor's opinion, which is kind of what differs in the way we do it.
Okay.
We have, Morningstar, the rating agency for all securities. Mm-hmm. They do these analysis for us, so it's just a factual, non-biased, third-party report. There's none of Paul's opinion involved, and so that's what's so powerful for people. It's just to bring the facts up, and what really blows people away is when they see all of these buried fees inside their portfolio come to the surface and how much it's actually costing them to work with their current company or their current advisor. Majority of the people come in, we always ask them, well, what's it costing you? They tell us they have an idea, I'm paying 1%. Okay, well, would you like to look into that? Would you like to find out? Sure. We do the analysis and they come back and they go through the analysis with us and they're just blown away that they're paying 2% plus in fees in their portfolio with this large national brokerage firm who told them they were going to give them a great deal at 1%.
Sure.
But people, it's eye-opening and it's great. The other part of this portfolio analysis that I think is wonderful, and I really encourage people to do it right now, is because times are changing.
Yeah.
We're in a very uncertain economic condition right now due to COVID and due to the credit the debt crisis that's coming our way and a lot of other things. A lot of our clients, we've been re-strategizing and re-outfitting our portfolios, getting a lot more defensively positioned and a lot better positioned for what's coming our way. And I'm afraid that there are a lot of Americans out there today who are not getting the attention they need by their financial professional. They're not getting the reallocation of their portfolio. They're not going to more defensive positions or taking a second look at how they're currently invested. And if there's ever been as important of a time, right now is the time to really sit down with a good fiduciary, get a third-party non-biased report on your current situation, and see if you need to reallocate your portfolio to put you in a better position for what's coming our way.
Sure.
You don't want to be caught and surprised by it when it's too late.
Exactly.
You know, there's a lot coming our way, and people really need to start looking and focusing at where we're going in the future and what do they need to do to prepare for it today.
And to be protected. That's
Yes.
the most important thing that you just said, Paul, because it's a nerve-wracking time for people that are approaching retirement. Let's say that they've had the checks coming in all their life from their employer. Well, all of a sudden now they're responsible for making sure that they're paying themselves, if you will.
And
So-
you know, COVID,
Yeah.
it really destroyed a lot of retirement dreams for a lot of people. A lot of
Sure.
people plan to go out this 2020
Sure.
before the market downturn. You know, but it's a tough thing for people out there today. That's why we really stress when you get to that red zone, like we're always talking about,
Yep,
Cynthia.
yeah.
It's time, when you get to that last 5 years for retirement, it's time to really take that risk meter down a lot.
Sure.
You know, so that something as a COVID crisis doesn't interrupt your retirement dreams at the last minute when you have one foot on the way out the door.
Absolutely. And if just the changes, Paul, that can happen with the COVID crisis, like you mentioned. I mean, a lot of people had adult children moving back home because they lost jobs, or people that were graduating college found it impossible to find a job. So that changes the trajectory for retirement ages as well.
It does, and there's a lot coming our way. You know, we have the media outlets are not covering the economic conditions and where we're going well enough, you know, but we had a lot of severe bankruptcies through June and July in the corporate market. In June, 30% of homeowners in America did not pay their mortgage.
Yeah.
However, at the same time, boat sales are through the roof, home sales are through the roof, home improvements. So everybody's just in this really weird place with this COVID thing going
Sure.
on, where they're spending a lot of money, they're doing all these things they don't want to do,
Yeah.
but at the same time, 30% of them are not making their home payment, their mortgage payment.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how is that going to unfold over the next few months going forward? And anyone at home who thinks, we're almost through this and it's all about to get better and we're going to take off, they're really fooling themselves. And right now it's really a time to sit down, talk to someone who knows how to manage risk properly and make sure your risk is managed properly and make sure you're defensively positioned, because we're going to have some severe credit defaults coming before the year's end,
Sure.
you know.
And that brings up a very good question. How important is it for someone to know what their risk tolerance is? Because you ask so many people, and the answer is typically, I'm conservative, I'm moderate. But what does that mean?
Yeah, you see, and that's one of the problems we find in the financial world, is that everything became so standardized.
Yeah.
Right? Are you conservative, moderate, balanced, or
Yeah.
growth? And what I explain to a lot of people is that doesn't really focus in or give you a risk number. We believe in a risk number, and also we believe in what we call risk versus reward. Right? Okay, if we're going to take a risk, is the reward we're receiving worth that risk? If not, then we should not even take this risk, right? Period. But most folks, what they don't realize is that risk versus reward is so far out of balance that they may be earning 6% in their portfolio, but they may have a drawdown potential of 30%. Well, if you lose 30% in a portfolio that's continually gaining 6, then your risk
Yeah.
versus reward is quite out of line, and it's going to take you, that recovery time is going to be so long that
Sure.
if you're in retirement, that could completely devastate your retirement today.
Absolutely.
You know, and so it's really a matter of measuring where is that risk versus reward, how much downside can we handle, and how much recovery time would it take to get back to even from that downside.
Sure.
But it's really a good time for people to come in or talk to their advisor, come in and see one of our all-star advisors, reevaluate their whole situation. And I cannot stress that enough to our listening audience today.
Yeah.
If you're not reevaluating today, you might find yourself in a bad position in the next few months going forward. So,
Sure.
look, we've got a team full of all-star advisors. They love doing their work. They're
Yep.
passionate about what they do. You know, Cynthia, what it's like to come in and visit one of our advisors.
Very casual, very comfortable. And Paul, on that note, we're going to open up the phone lines again. So can you tell the viewing audience what they can expect to receive?
Yes, if anyone who calls right now who has at least $200,000 saved for retirement, they can come in and get a full-blown comprehensive financial review. As we were stating, that's going to give you your analysis of your current portfolio, bring to light how much risk you're taking, the fees and commissions associated with your plan. Then we're going to do a tax analysis. That tax analysis will roll us into a full-blown income plan. Now, this income plan is the most important aspect of retirement planning because everybody's got to have a paycheck. right?
Absolutely.
So you get this whole full-blown comprehensive portfolio, income plan, and analysis of your current situation at no cost, no obligation to you. For the next 15 people to call us today, phone number is 228-388-2031. You'll hear back from Mr. Derek Inkle, our client liaison. Come on in, have a nice warm cup of coffee and a warm cookie, and we're going to have a nice casual conversation and see how we can provide value in your life.
Paul, what an amazing value, and it's complimentary. To the viewing audience at home, that number to call once again is 228-388-2031. We realize phone lines have been busy in the past. We've added an additional phone line this week for your convenience. That number to call once again is 228-388-2031. We'll be right back after this very short commercial break with more questions and answers about planning your perfect retirement. Please stay tuned.
As a good saver, you've been putting away money during your working years. Studies find that the biggest fear of retirees is running out of money. Market volatility isn't just the downward movement of stock prices, it's the size and frequency of change. The more dramatic the ups and downs, the higher the volatility. This can put savers who are newly retired or a few years away from being retired at greater risk. Today's generation of retirees is not receiving traditional pensions as our parents or grandparents did. Instead, we have retirement accounts such as 401ks or 403bs. These accounts typically expose your money to market risk. The last thing you want right before retirement is to lose a portion of the money you need for income. But how do you turn these accounts into a retirement income? Is it safe to keep all your retirement money sitting in the stock market? The last thing you want is to lose a portion of the money you need for income due to market loss. By working with a financial professional, you can learn how to turn a portion of your savings into an income stream for life and income for the life of your spouse if you're married. We all have moments in our lives when we wish we had taken action sooner. Don't let procrastination reign on your retirement parade. Act now before it's too late. Please call our office to set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement income review today.
And welcome back to Retire Right TV. My name is Cynthia DeFazio. I'm joined today by Paul Roberts. He's President and CEO of Roberts Wealth Management. Paul, a great show that we're having today and talking a lot about the importance of obviously how COVID has changed so many different areas of retirement and how it's important to be protected and to plan properly. Can I ask you a question? How long does the first consultation take when someone comes in to sit with you or a member of your team?
Our initial consultation takes somewhere between an hour and 90 minutes.
Okay.
You know, we allot on our calendar 90 minutes for that first visit.
Okay.
And every once in a while, somebody may have a complex enough situation we run over. Well, we'll continue at another time, right? But generally, it's going to take someone about an hour to 90 minutes to sit down and have the full conversation. And what people don't understand is it takes a whole 90 minutes because we're fiduciaries and we dig deep and we're going to ask a lot of details. The whole point of that first meeting is what we call discovery, right?
Yeah.
It's to paint a picture for us. You know, we need to know all the details of your life.
Yeah.
What are your sources of income? What are your savings? What is the taxation of all these different buckets of money? What are your family dynamics? What are your goals?
Yeah.
What are your concerns? How do all of these pieces of the puzzle fit together?
Sure.
And that's what the whole meeting is about, is just identifying all the pieces of the puzzle. Right?
Okay.
Then we can start putting them all together and create the picture that people need. But that initial meeting, you know, it's a warm, comfortable conversation. Nothing actually takes place. There are no sales. There's nothing of that sort. It's just a meeting, sit down, have a conversation, see if we can provide value to that person's life, if we can help them improve their life,
Sure.
and if we're a good fit to work with each other. Because, you know, not everybody's a good fit to work together.
Yeah.
And that's okay. You know, not everyone who comes in to see us are we a good fit for. But majority of people, we're a really good fit for.
Yeah.
And we've got over 700 clients now on the Gulf Coast who love and adore us.
I was going to say, I find that to be the norm. Everyone loves and adores you. All the comments that I've heard have all been positive. And they love how when they come into the office, like we mentioned earlier, they feel like they're part of the family already, just from the very first moment of walking in the door. So that's just something that is just a huge testimonial.
People who experience the Roberts Wealth difference, as we say in our office, right, and experience the relationship we have with clients, and when they come in, Like I said, it's so casual. It's like they're walking in their own home. They're so
Yeah.
comfortable with the whole team.
Yeah.
They expect their warm cookie. They expect their cup of coffee or their water. You know, they have certain expectations that they've known that we will fulfill, and it's just a very warm, comfortable setting. They all walk in feeling like they're in the living room of their own home. You know.
Well, how can someone say no to a warm cookie? I
look-
mean, a cookie, but a warm cookie?
And I promised Miss Tiffany that this week we would give her a shout out on the air. So I've got to tell everyone, Miss Tiff's her cookies are becoming Gulf Coast famous.
Really?
She has it down to a science. She's got them perfected. She has high expectations for herself and her cookies, and everyone who comes in does. And she takes a lot of pride in what she does. And let me tell you, they're fantastic, and everyone loves them.
So I don't want to talk all the time about cookies, but it's like chocolate chip, sugar.
Oh, she has all kind of flavors. You know, she's got all of her own. She made me buy her all these ovens and cookie machines and timers and all this. I mean, she's baking them fresh in the office all day, every day, and she's got it down to a perfection. You know, it's not real good for me. I've been dieting and I've been trying to watch my cookie mass, and all day long I smell them and I walk by and I see them and it's very
it's hard.
tempting. I end up having to take
Yeah.
1 or 2 a day down.
The same. That is the one thing I cannot pass by is a warm chocolate chip cookie. So I have to ask you, Paul, is there a checklist that people would need to follow for any documents that are needed for their first consultation?
Yeah, that's fantastic, because that's one of the things that is difficult, is to get everybody to come in prepared.
Yeah.
Some of the things, we need statements on any investment accounts, anything you're concerned with, right?
Okay.
Any details if you have a pension at work or any type of pension package or options, we need that information. Your Social Security benefit information for both spouses, either side. And we also really like for people to bring a tax return, because that is our specialty, and where we really enhance things for our client base is because we are the tax experts. You know? Well, if you don't have a tax return, then I can't find you any tax savings, right?
Exactly.
And so a lot of folks, majority of people who come in, they come very well prepared and with everything, but sometimes people are a little bit lacking, and all I have to say is, we want to help you and provide value to you, but you got to give us the adequate information we need. So please come prepared when you come in to sit with one of our advisors, and then we can make good use of your time and good use of our time and really provide that value.
And I love how you mentioned it's so important, Paul, to have a second opinion, because even if you think that you have a good plan in place, it never hurts to have someone different take a look. Not the same advisor like we mentioned earlier, but actually a whole new perspective looking at it.
And everyone out there should get that second opinion, Cynthia.
Yep.
And what we're going to offer today is for the next 15 people who call in right now, 228-388-2031. We will give you that second opinion of your current situation. It is a third-party, non-biased analysis of your current situation. It is super empowering, and everyone out there should get a second opinion. If it was your health at hand, you would get a second opinion before you walked into surgery. This is your retirement and your life at hand. Get a second opinion there too.
Paul, thank you so much. To our viewers at home, thank you so much for watching. We look forward to spending time with you again next week. Thank you. Be safe and blessed.